According to CBS News, a jury found Bishop Lamar Whitehead guilty Monday of wire fraud, attempted extortion, and lying to the FBI. The 47-year-old was accused of looting a parishioner's retirement savings and trying to extort a businessman to fuel his lavish lifestyle. His lawyers said they plan to appeal the verdict.
As you come on to the page, kindly hit the like bell and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so as yet. Thank you.
He lost more than $1 million in jewelry during a highly publicized robbery at his Brooklyn church. Now, the so-called Blink Bishop is also poised to lose his freedom. Lamar Whitehead facing decades in prison after a jury convicted him today on federal charges, including wire fraud and attempted extortion. Prosecutors say he ripped off a parishioner's retirement savings, and tonight her family is speaking for the first time to News 4's Chris Jose.
It's been an emotional roller coaster for the past 4 years.
Rasheed Anderson relieved tonight following the conviction of Lamar Whitehead, better known as the Blink Bishop, for his lavish lifestyle. A Manhattan federal jury today finding Whitehead guilty of defrauding a parishioner and trying to extort a businessman.
It's been a long time coming, and we're very happy to see that the verdict was guilty today.
Rasheed's mother, Pauline Anderson, invested $90,000 of her retirement savings with Whitehead. Prosecutors said he spent the money on luxury goods at Louis Vuitton and Foot Locker, and even used Anderson's money to make his car payments. Rasheed testified during the trial. You and your mother trusted this guy.
Yeah, we trusted him a lot.
Whitehead, no stranger to headlines. In July of 2022, he was robbed at gunpoint while delivering a sermon in Brooklyn. The $1 million jewelry heist caught on his church's live stream. 2 months ago, one of the men accused of the robbery killed by U.S. Marshals at a New Jersey hotel.
This was the guy that put the gun, have a gun pointed just like this in my wife's face, pointed just like this in my 8-month-old baby's face, and then had the gun to the back of my head as he ripped off my jewelry.
Whitehead not yet publicly commenting on his conviction, which also includes charges that he tried to force a Bronx businessman to lend him $500,000 while promising access to Mayor Adams. Whitehead claimed he knows the mayor on a personal level. The bishop going to social media after his arrest in December 2022.
Just because you was arrested doesn't make you guilty.
Jurors found Whitehead guilty of wire fraud, lying to the FBI, and attempted extortion. The trial lasting 2 weeks. Rasheed had prayed for today's outcome.
I do want to give thanks to God because he was the one that, revealed the truth, and I was able to go up there. Everyone was able to go up there and speak their truth.
Whitehead's sentencing is scheduled for July 1st. He faces up to 45 years in prison. Chris Jose, News 4 New York.
Bishop Lamar Whitehead speaks out after he was reportedly found guilty of fraud. According to reports, the Brooklyn bishop reportedly attempted to scam an elderly lady out of her retirement saving funds. The bishop was found guilty on all counts, including attempted wire fraud, attempted extortion, and wire fraud. Whitehead lied, cheated, and stole to keep up a wealthy appearance. Prosecutor Jessica Greenwood said, he used lies and threats to get money from his victims. Bling Bishop, Lamar Whitehead was convicted at his Manhattan trial Monday of stealing the life savings of a parishioner's mother and perpetrating other schemes, falsely claiming along the way that Mayor Adams had given him the key to the city to carry out his fraud. Jurors found Whitehead, 45, guilty of 5 counts, including wire fraud, attempted extortion, lying to the FBI, and related charges stemming from 3 separate schemes after deliberating for just a few hours in Manhattan federal court. We are appealing the verdict, Whitehead's lawyer, Don Florio, said in brief remarks. The headline-grabbing pastor, whom Adams has described as a mentee, had pleaded not guilty to all charges. He could not immediately be reached for comment. But he gave a teary-eyed soliloquy the day before the verdict. This is a time where we rejoice in the Lord. This is not a time to be sad. I know I got choked up a little bit, but just thinking about the goodness, not thinking about the badness, it was the goodness. Whitehead rambled toward the end of a live-stream sermon on Sunday, wiping tears from his eyes. There are always going to be people who wish on your downfall, he continued. But just understand that God will step up. Don't worry about tomorrow because we know who holds tomorrow. Amen. Jurors heard during the trial how Whitehead targeted the single mom of one of his parishioners at Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries in Canarsie, Brooklyn. That woman, Pauline Anderson, was targeted along with a money-lending company and Bronx businessman Brandon Belmonte. The defendant was trusted by many in his community. He was the bishop of a small church in Brooklyn and a self-described businessman. He was a friend to the mayor of New York City, Assistant U.S. Attorney Jessica Greenwood said last month in the government's opening statements. The defendant abused that trust by lying again and again. When she took the stand, Anderson emotionally told jurors about trusting Whitehead, mentor and spiritual advisor, to her son, to invest $90,000 of her life savings accumulated during her career as a nurse. The pastor claimed he would use the proceeds to buy and renovate a fixer-upper home. After being refused a bank loan, she said the investment was his idea and that the preacher had presided over her son Rashid Anderson's wedding and introduced him to contacts who helped him secure his own home. I trusted him, an emotional Anderson testified Feb. 27. He said he had real estate experience. He was a man of God. He prayed for me in earnest. I believe in God, so I believed he would honestly help me to get this house. Trial evidence showed that Whitehead, previously convicted of identity theft, spent the cash on himself, with the funds going to designer clothing, his BMW, Grubhub, Foot Locker and other lavish purchases. As the victim's son tried to get back his mom's savings, Whitehead, in a text, said he was asking God to exact vengeance on him, Anderson told jurors on the trial's second day. In a second scheme, the feds described how Whitehead used his ties to the mayor to squeeze Belmonte, the Bronx businessman, for a $500,000 real estate investment. In an intercepted conversation, Whitehead told Belmonte that Adams, whom he referred to as E, was his key to the city, and could help them with lifting stop work orders on a property the pastor and Belmonte were talking about buying together. The mayor was not accused of wrongdoing in the case. The feds stressed from the outset that Whitehead's promises of mayoral help were false. Adams' campaign is under federal investigation, with several close allies having their homes raided in recent months. After the pastor's testimony, in which he claimed that an FBI agent had pressured him to help us get the mayor of New York, according to the New York Times, the prosecution said Whitehead lied during his time on the stand. The mayor has known the crooked pastor since the Poles days as Brooklyn borough president and appeared with him at multiple official events, introducing Whitehead as his good friend at a 2016 concert. The defendant, who mounted a failed 2021 campaign to succeed Adams as Brooklyn borough president, has said he considers the mayor his mentor and brother. Whitehead abruptly started making city headlines after Adams took office in January 2020. In yet another fraud of which Whitehead was convicted, evidence showed that he drew up phony bank statements to get a $250,000 loan, purporting to show he had millions in a company account that had less than $6. Along with unsuccessfully trying to facilitate the surrender of an accused subway killer in May 2022, drawing authorities' wrath, Whitehead himself was robbed in a caught-on-camera stick-up at one of his services last June. Whitehead could face up to 45 years in prison when sentenced on July 1st. A spokesman for Manhattan, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams declined to comment.
As you leave the page, kindly hit the like bell and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so as yet. Thank you for watching.